All right. So welcome.
You were saying something.
About what?
Assignment.
Okay. So yeah. So I was saying that I was asking Shalom if she had submitted the assignment. She said no. Okay. You want it submitted? I took a look at it. There are a few corrections I need to make,
Okay.
but I wanted you to like send the image because there's no way I can view the image if you with the way you sent it. Okay. So there was no way I can, because there was no image attached to it. So if you're sending that, at least for now, you have to send two different files.
Okay.
Okay, you have to send two
Okay.
different files.
Sure, it can be the file can be exported now.
Yeah, of course, just like the one you attach to Google Docs. So for now, I mean
So
for
how do
now,
can you just tell me the steps on how to send the raw file itself? Say from file exports, something of
oh
that
no,
nature.
you already just the same way you sent the one you shared with me. That just
Okay.
all right. Let me share my screen. So, um, all right. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So for the assignment, right? So all you just need to go do is to go to your Google Drive. So if you have, okay, let me just start with a fresh one. So you can go to Google Drive like this. Or is drive? This is a drive, right? So you click on it, and of course, I have some things here. Then you go to New and then File Upload. Okay, let's say the file upload is, I don't know. Let me just see. This HTML. Okay, just open it, and then it's going to upload now. The file has been uploaded. All right. So if I click on it, okay. So it showed me where the file is. So the next thing you need to do is to go here to Actions and Share. Okay. So one way of sharing is to copy the link. All right. Okay, and then just paste, give me, and then just paste the link as something like this. Let's go to back to so you can just copy the link and then send me the link. So you can see the link here. Okay. All right. So here is asking, the permission. Okay. So you can just say allow anyone with the link. Okay, and then share. Okay, that's how I pasted it. Yes, anyone with the link should have access to it. Okay, so another way you can easily see, which is basically the similar way, it's just for you to just say share. Instead of just copy the link, just say share. And then you now have to search for people here, like provide the email. Okay, so like in my case, I provide email. So yeah, and then you can then share. Okay, so if you just want to share to somebody, not to, so as the person will not change anything in your code or in your this, you can just do viewer. Okay, so just to view. Well, if you want access, if you want the person to be able to edit your code, you can then say as editor. Okay, and then copy the link. Okay, sure. So that's just basically it. Yeah, for now, this is what we're going to do. But later on, we're going to use what we call GitHub, okay, which is more professional, with what we really use. So where we're going to learn how to, wow, this guy. So where we're going to learn how to work with GitHub and put a code online. Okay, so that anywhere you go, you should be able to access your code. Okay, so we're going to do this later on, but for now, I think this is sufficient. It also shows you how you can, work your way around Google Docs. Okay. Okay. So for today, we're going to do. I want to just show you guys something in the book, right? So that it's. So I want to look at tables. Okay. So you can see this example of tables. I'm sure you've seen things like this online where you have items arranged like this. So if we go to a website like Aboki, I can remember Aboki FX, for instance, and I click on parallel rates, so you can see how these things are arranged here. Okay, you see how they are arranged. Okay, so this is a table. It's a HTML table. This is where you can shift this to the table. Okay, so that doesn't example. There are a whole lot of examples. So because I want you guys to practice the book, so I'm just going to show you. First of all, this is a table. Okay, so what do you do when you want to create a table? Of course, you have to start with the table tag. Can you see my screen very well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you need a table tag, and then you need a table row. Okay, this is a table row. So a row is just basically the horizontal part of the, like if you take the horizontal rows, okay, the horizontal portion of the table, okay, and then of course also have the columns. Okay, so we're going to take like a look at an example. So this is a simple table, and like I used to tell you guys, like the way you practice, just create a file name, and so I'm going to do exactly this. I'm going to do a file physics table structure.html, then do this table here, create this table. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to create a file. I'll call it table. Okay, basic table structure. See, as I'm creating the file, there's no space. Okay, so instead of space, I put a dash. Okay, so let me just grab a lot of things here. Just close them because obviously I don't need them. It's already did in the past. Okay, so why is that big table to be? Of course, the first thing, so even if you have here that they just do table, okay, like I told you now, this is just, they just give you the body of the code, okay, the body of the page. They are not giving you the whole HTML structure because there is no need, it's just repetition. But for you, in your case, you have to always type them. Okay, so you start with the doc type. Okay, doc type HTML, telling the browser that you want to make use of the latest version of HTML. Okay, then the next thing is to create the actual page, which start with the HTML tag. Sorry, the HTML tag. You can see there. So this is the actual page. Okay, this place here you have the actual HTML page. And from what we've done so far, we just create the structure first, the head, and then let's go straight to the body. Okay, it's the same thing everywhere, right? So the head, we're going to put the title because we want something in the title. I will just say title tag. Okay, basic HTML tables. Okay, basic HTML table. Of course, if we run this right now, nothing's going to happen. Okay, so one way of running this, which I probably have not shown you guys before, is you have to just ignore this for now. I need to just go straight to the where I store the files. Okay, so I think it's here. in this HTML. Okay, so you can see list of the files. Okay, which are these files using here on the page. So I store them there. So to run this, you can just go to where you store the file and then double click. So if I double click on this, of course, it gives me a blank page because I've not written anything on the body of the page. Okay, so because we're going to do it with tables, so I'm just going to do a heading and say just do H1 instead. Sorry, H2 HTML. That's a basic HTML tables table. Okay. All right. So if I go back, but in this case now, when you make changes, it's not going to reflect. You have to always refresh it. Okay, so that the page will show. All right. So let's go back to our code, and then we'll create a table. Okay, so to create a table, just do table. Okay, to tell the browser that you want to create a table. Okay, and now, of course, tables are going to have rows and columns. Okay, tables are going to have rows and columns. So, for instance, if we look at this table example, maybe we look at one in the book. Okay, this particular one, it just values, but things you can see that these things are arranged very well. Okay, but there's really no heading, and of course, it doesn't make sense to have a table that doesn't have any heading because you don't really know what these numbers mean, or they don't really mean anything in this case if you just have this. Okay, but in that case, what we're going to do is that we're going to so first of all, if you want to create a data is sample data like any of this. This is a row, like this row, and then the column is vertical. Okay, so if you want to create a row data, okay, you need to say table row, and then create the values that are in the table row. So tr means table row. So if I do this, and then I create, let's say td, let's say 50, let's say 80. Another one, TD 40, TD 50. Okay, I've created a row for the table in this case. So if I go back and refresh, you can see it's one row, but obviously it doesn't mean anything. Okay, so but usually when you want to create a table, you should give it a title, a heading, okay, so that you know what the table is about. But this number does not really mean anything. So what we are going to do in our case is I'll rename this table to be employee detail. Okay, employees detail, sorry. Okay, because table have to always talk about something. Okay, so let's say we want to talk about the employee name. I'll say John Doe. Location, I'll say Lagos, for instance. And then date of birth, okay, 26. Okay, so if I do this, let's go and see what will happen here. So I'll refresh. Of course, give me these values, but still it does not make sense. No, we don't really know what it is. So I can add more rows. Just creating another. Remember, you can see this row is outside of this row, right? So they're outside, they're not inside the row. So I'll put another employee. I'll call employee James this yeah. I don't know, something like that. I put, oh no, that's a different employee. So it's same thing. You have to put the location. So because you want the table to be uniform, so the columns represent the same thing, and the columns should represent the same. So because the second column here is the location. So let me just say Port Harcourt, for instance. And then, of course, this one would represent the age. Okay, I'll say 32. Okay. Again, I'll put two different rows in the table. Okay. Say the location, the person's name, and the age. But of course, it doesn't make sense. Like, so you need to always put the heading. So to put the heading, you go to the top. It should be in the first row. Okay. So instead of TD, which is table data, right? You put TH. So should I heading name? I can just say name. Okay. Name. TH location, and then the last one TH age. Okay. So this the table header should map one to one, so should map directly to this. So this first one will map to this one. The second one location will map to the second TD, and so on and so forth. So if I want to add another column, for instance, here, so another row, I'll just say T row. And then this time around is TD because that is the table data. I'm just filling in the data. So I can now say datas TD. Okay, I'll say TD London. And then age. Okay, 29. Okay, so if we now go back to this here, you can see that we have location, age, and of course it's not properly aligned, but you can see that this one is actually location, this one's age. And that, okay. And then it's looking a bit clearer. Okay. And then let's say we want to add gender, for instance. So if you go here and just put maybe male, another one here, male, this one probably, let's say female. Yeah, see, I've not put anything here, so let's see what happened now. So you see, this one has no heading. Okay. Okay, so I have to go and put the heading to show that which is not TH. I'll call it gender. Another thing I want to put also is maybe just some numbering pattern. Okay, I just put one here. Moments. Okay, so I put 2 here, number 2, and put 3 here. So if I go back to our page, okay, you can see now the problem now here is that now the name is taking over the first one because I did not put the first one will always correspond to the first heading will always correspond to the first one here. Okay, but that's not what I want. I want this first one to be numbers and not the name. Okay, so it's not showing that name. So we have to push the other ones to the other side. Okay, so what we will do in that case is to include the table heading. Now, this table heading, right, we don't really need to have a title for it, you know, so we'll just leave it empty. But it already shows that this one will correspond to the first one here, table data. Okay, so if you go back, and then we now see that, you know, it's aligning, though not very well, but just okay. Okay, you can see that this is the age, this is the gender, this is the location, and this is, yeah. So one of the things that's happening here is that if you have different length of the data, okay, it tends to realign the heading because the heading is not the same length as the end of this. So what we can do is that, which is a quick solution to arrange this very well, just to make sure that the names are, let me just say, I'll just remove the last name. Okay, the names are Echo and I mean PH. instead of the long ph, I'll just put like this. Maybe I put p.h, and then this one. So let's see what it looks like. So it will look as if we have say it looks properly aligned now. It's very close to being properly aligned. Okay, and that's because if the length of data differs, it tends to push the header away from the alignment, okay, because it tries to occupy the space that is needed. Now, the thing is that we don't always have to do this, because in a table we want first name, second name, or even last name, but we want everything to align. So to be able to achieve that, we need to go to CSS, which we are going to do later on. But for now, this is okay. Okay, you can even make the table. This is a very simple table. Okay, basic table. The thing is that you need to create a row, because each of these is a row. So let me go back to the table. Each of this is a row. This is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. Okay, so this is also a row. The heading is also a row. Okay, that's how we do TR. TR means table row. Okay, TR means table row. And then we have, so this is a basic table. Okay, and that is how you just create this table. So what I want to get there is that if you want to create a table, you need a table tag, okay, and then a T row, a TH for the headings. And if you look at the headings, it looks a bit different, okay, because we actually can see it's bold, okay, you can see it's very bold, okay, by putting that TH. Okay, so this is how you're going to create a table, simple table. But usually, when you want to create a table, you want to add more things, which we are going to do. Okay, so this is what I expect you to do when you're looking at the book, and so we added a heading here. Okay, so I wanted you like this. You can see the heading here and see. So I want you to try out this, create a table heading, create this, and try out what we've just done. Okay. Okay. So one thing we also notice here is we are going to have like the scope. Okay, scope is column. So the scope does not really do anything in terms of like visual. It does not do anything. So I can just put scope here, but I'll explain what it means as a column. Okay, so if I put scope here, column, and I put scope here, column again. Okay, let me just put for the first two. It will not really change anything. There is no difference. Okay, but if I refresh here, it does not change anything visually. But what it does is it's useful for screen readers. Okay, like I usually tell you guys that there are people who are visually impaired, so they listen to a screen reader reading the web page to them. Okay, now if somebody reads this web page, you will not really know that there's a heading. Okay, that is age 26, 32, 29. It's hard to really express it if you are not seeing it like this. If you are looking at this, it's clear that there's a heading to this, but there's a way a screen reader will stress it if you put scope. So it's for people who are visually impaired. For people who are visually impaired, the screen reader will read out this name in a way that to show that it's representing a column heading. Okay, that this represents a column heading as well. Not just what the scope does, but it will just read this normal. So they may not know that it's a heading. So that is why it's good that you put that this is a heading for the column that representing the column. So I'm going to the scope. So I mean, like visually, it does not really mean anything, but screen reader, it's advantage of this. Okay. All right. So this is how you create a simple table. So you can increase the table indefinitely. Yeah, but usually we don't want to make this too simple. Let's see. Someone is saying that the site is not opening. What does that mean? All right. I don't know. Someone's on the saying that the site is not open, but it should open. I don't know why it shouldn't open. It should be open. Okay, so this is how you build a basic table. Okay, this is how you basically do. And that's what I expect you guys to be doing with the book. You know, just go and practice and see how type these things out. That's how you really get used to it. Okay, type this thing out and then you get it. Okay, so let's look at this one, which is the table span. Let's see. I'm just going to do it side by side like this. So let's do this. So I'm going to create a new file. I call it spanning tables. Okay, so why I'm showing this book today is just to show you how you should practice the book, how you should use this book and practice it. It's very, very important. And you type in these things. Again, you see, you start with table, okay, but that's not where you should start. You always start with the doc type. Okay. So you type the doc type, HTML, close that. Okay. And then you must always create the basic structure, then the head. So by now, if you have been practicing, if you have done the assignment, or if you have been practicing, then by now you should be used to this. Okay. So I'll just call it span. So I'll explain what that means. And then the body. Okay, so here again, we have the table. And this table, we have, you always start with the row, right? So you have the row, because each element in the table is a row, basically. So we have the row, and the first row is heading. Okay, the head, another head for 9 a.m. Then have another head for 10 a.m. and so on and so forth. So we have the city again. And then the last one, the H. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. So again, we're using the manual way of opening this. So I'm going to the file, which is, where is it? It should be here. Okay, spanning tables. So I'm just going to double click. Okay, again, see, it just shows the heading and really nothing. Okay, so, and that's because that's what we have done here. Just created the table one row. This one is empty. I'm going to see why that one is empty. This one is 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Okay. So let's go back. Okay, so let's begin to fill in the data for you. So this is basically like a timetable. Okay. So I'm just going to call it timetable. Going to be H2. Cost schedule. Okay, so again, here you see now here we'll put the table head again. Okay, let's look at the data first, then we'll explain why it should be head. Okay, so let's just data. So that you don't always think that table head will have to be on only the first row. It's not like that. Happen anywhere. Can be anywhere. So I'll go to Monday and put TD geography TD math and then TD again arts. Okay, let's create the next one. TR TD Tuesday. TD Gym. The last one, TD Home. Okay, so let's go to our browser and see what it looks like. So I'm going to refresh this, and this is it. Okay, so if you look at this, you see that first of all, the table, you know, it's not looking very nice, really. You can see that this one falls off. Even if we have Monday, right, geography, math, art. So I'm assuming that this art is actually covering what 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Okay, just that line. Okay. And then geography is taking maybe 2 hours. So what happened in this case now? What actually happened if geography is from 9 to 10? Okay. And also, it doesn't also look nice like I see. This is looking like a part of the data instead of a heading for a particular day of the week. Okay, so it's looking like part of the data data sample. Okay, which is the data points. Looking like that. So it doesn't make sense to have. Yeah. So a better way of doing this is to change this to what th. So it will be a heading. So it's not part of the data. It's just a heading. So I'll do the Tuesday. You can do this to Saturday. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So if I do that and then refresh, that it makes more sense here that this is Monday and this is the subject you have, and this is Tuesday and that's the subject you have. Okay. So what happened here if now I have geography, math, and art? Now we have 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So what happened if geography start from 9 o'clock and ends at 10 or 11? Okay. So you can see that this one is one column, this another column. So what you just need to do is to tell the browser that you want geography to span 2 columns. So I'll say column span, and put 2. So if I do that, I can say this, and then I refresh the page again. You can see now it takes these 2 columns. Okay. Okay, pushing this to this other side. Okay. Now I can also do the same here because you can see that this home economics is supposed to, well, we don't know where, maybe gym is 9 o'clock, then at 10 is home economics. Okay. What if gym is from 9 to 10, or maybe from 9 to 11? So how do you do that? How do you show that? You do column span again. So let's just do 3 here and refresh. So see this now takes 3 hours. Okay, the gym. Okay, so there's nothing here. Or we can do it like this too. We can say that this is 2. Okay. And then probably this again is 2. Okay, this home economics is 2 columns. We'll span 2 columns. Okay. So this is how you can span a column. So if you have tests that will have to cover more than 1 column, but because this one is just in 1 column, right? So if you want to cover more than 1 column, this is something you can do. Okay. And see, we intentionally do not put a heading here because it does not, we can say day of the week, but it does not really matter. Okay, but this is the corresponding time. Okay, Monday at 9 a.m., Monday at 10 a.m. So this is how you create a table. Okay, so please try that out and add more. So, all right. So you're going to see how. Now, if you look at this table, it's not looking exactly as the as what we have here. Okay, well, there's a reason for that. I'm going to show you later. Okay, so let's quickly do a row span. So which means we're going to do another table. I'm just going to use the same page. Okay, and there's probably just draw a line because you can have, to show you that you can have a table. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Okay, and then create another table. Okay, maybe I should create it on the top. Okay. Okay, no worries. Let me just create it. So to create a table, a table like this. You can see now, this one I have a row span. So this occupy 2 rows. You can see the rows, so this occupy 2 rows. It's just very, very similar, but but this is row span. The other one was column span, so you occupy like 2 columns like this. So this one is occupying 2 rows. Okay, so how do you do that? You can see from this example here. Okay, that's the table. Again, you have to only start with table row. Okay, we now have T head, T head for ABC. So if you practice this every time or every day, you're going to get used to creating HTML. Okay. Now, why this is necessary is because very soon we're going to be done with HTML, and you're expected to have known all this. Because when we're in JavaScript, we're not going to be doing HTML. We're going to assume that you already know HTML. So you don't want to get the two things confused. And when we get to CSS, we do that you know HTML already. Okay. So that's why, and the only way you can know is it's not like something you read in school and then write exam at the end of the day. You cram and write exam. No, this you must use your hand and do it, okay, to get used to it. It may appear boring initially, but at the point you definitely get used to it. Okay. So movie, and then we have comedy. So let's take another one, another row. 7 p.m. 8 p.m. PG sports, then TV current affairs. Okay, so if we go, I'm just going to call this row span. So this is horizontal and I drew, so you can see the row span here. You can see, of course, we don't need the heading here, but you can just put time if you want. Okay, you can just put time. But you don't really always have to put the heading here, because once you see it, this one is, it's already clear that that is time. All right. So if you know that if you see that something is clear, there's really no need to put it, because we want to minimize what we have on the page as well, so people will not get confused. Right now that this is time. Now, what happened if this movie, all right, is actually from 6 to 8 p.m. Okay. Well, if the movie is from 6 to 8 p.m. in this case, how do you do that? You do something similar, row span. Okay. So you come here, instead of column span, put another one. Column row span. So I can do row span to cover from. So you can see that now the V covers the whole of this time here. Okay. Yeah, so let's just make this just to look a little bit. So if you want that thing, those lines, border lines, you can just come to the table and put border here. Although this one is just for us to just really see an example, but it's not really necessary. You can see we now have this border by just putting that attribute here. We got the one. The one simply means the size of the border. So if I put like 5, okay, so it's going to be thick. See, that's it. That's the table. So I can. Although this is highly discouraged, but just to show you, maybe in case you just want to do something that you want to look at it and see how nice it looks. Okay, you can just put the border, the table here. All right, that's an attribute. Let me do basically just give you that. Okay, so that's how you create these tables. Yeah, but this is simple table. But in reality, what we do when we're creating tables is that we actually, there's two more tags. Visually, it's not going to change anything. So usually you have to put here head, t-head, and everything here should be in the head. Okay, the t-head should actually be in the head. So I put t-head. So the first row should be inside t-head. Again, this is very, very important for optimization, browser optimization. So the t-head, this should be in the t-head. Okay. Sorry. The first row should be in the t-head. It makes it easier for us to even quickly just look at it and say, okay, this is the t-head. Okay. So you can see I put it in the t-head. And then everything that's in the body, see, so the t-head is, let me show you again. The t-head is this one here. Okay. Okay, the t-head. Okay. So the other things that are in the body of the this now in the body of the table. This is the heading. Okay. So even if we put this at heading, right, but this is still like in the body. Okay, so what we need to do there is now put T body. Okay, so everything here is in the body. So we also have T foot. Okay, which you can just let's see. I don't know, 23. Or you can even just put some notes there, doesn't matter. So if we right click this, okay, something is wrong there. Copy is not copy. Okay, don't worry about that for now. So we can just put, we can even put a paragraph table about events. Okay. I don't worry too much about the content for now. I'm just trying to show you, you know, how you can build a table. So okay. How you can build a table. Okay. And we can just do a column span, maybe 4 to 1. So just span the columns. Okay, so that's the table foots here, and this is table body. Okay, well, this is not also making sense. We'll just put 5 at once. So I'll just stop uploading. Table foots. But this is generally how to build a table. Okay, so I'm going to send a HTML mock so that you can just recreate a table. Okay, I'll just recreate a table. So any questions so far on tables? So please, I'm just trying to show you how you can, practice the book. Like just go and say this one's long table where they describe it here. But this is generally, this is how you should be, creating your table. Put a T head for the head and put T body, okay, and T foot where necessary. But you don't always need T foot anyway. But if it's necessary, just put it. Okay, if you need to use it. Okay, you can see how they've created this long table. You can see that this is an example of where you have the T foot. Okay, T foot. The first one is empty. The second one, so I like calculating this. And of course, if you put the border is going to look way nicer than this. Okay, so any question on table? So that was basically about table. So if you see a table like the one I showed earlier, okay, and this, okay, so it's a table. You can also, this is also a table. See this? So this is also a table which you can, of course, they've added CSS here. You can look the way it's looking, but this is also a table. Okay, and this is a very good example of a table. All right, so at least now you can do a table. You can create a table. So the most important thing is practicing. Okay, open the book and practice. Ignore anywhere you see old code, ignore it completely. We don't need that. Okay. Okay, so there's also a border, there's a color, and all of that. All right. So, but generally, this is an example of a table, which, I mean, anyone here should be able to do this table. Okay. So table, like, you can create something that looks like Excel sheet on the page. Okay, it's just a table. Okay, so please practice this. It's absolutely necessary that we practice this. That's the only way you can learn this. Otherwise, your time will be going and you're not really learning. Okay, so you need to practice, you need to open this book. I make this book is like one of the simplest books I can use on this. So that's why I actually, and then the explanations are also very straightforward. So the most of the learning, is just straightforward. And if you read this, all this, like I said, all this things by learning that it can be in normal computer science, like there are things that like HTML, there are things that you can just learn within 1 or 30 minutes, all the things we've done. Okay. So but you can see we're taking us a month to learn, taking us more than that, more than 1 or 30 minutes. Or let's say 2 hours, the things we should cover, but it's taking us more than 10 hours to learn. Okay, just because I want us to really understand it and have time to practice it. And the good thing about these things that once you practice it, you've learned it. Then you move on to the next thing. And before you realize, within 3 months, you've learned something very, very important, very, very valuable. Okay, so please let's try and practice. Well, that's the thing, because you can come here, listen to all of this, nothing. At the end of the day, you're not going to really benefit much. So, of course, forms. Okay, let's look at example of forms, okay, which we are used to have. We've seen this kind of thing where you have to add test, where you have to add password and test area, the box like this. Also, selecting, all these are part of forms. They are called form inputs, okay. Drop down, selecting a single option value from some option, and then selecting more than one value. So like a checkbox, subscribing, uploading files, all these interactions are part of form, and they're called form controls input. Yeah, okay. So that's the next thing we want to take a look at. We're going to just touch it a little bit today, and then when we come next time, we're going to complete it, and then look at one or more, a few more things. I think that next class is going to be our last HTML class. Okay, so today we're going to have a very simple assignment, and in our next class, the assignment is going to be a bit bigger than the one for today and the one for, so it's going to be like a bigger one. Then we now enter CSS. So please, after next week, we're going to go into CSS. We're moving forward. Okay, we'll now learn how to put all these colors, how to do all this color. And also, for those of you that are joining the Python class, also please take it very, very seriously. You're going to learn a lot of things in the next 3 months. Okay, if you're serious, if you do the assignment, you have to do. Because if you just come and watch videos and go and watch the YouTube videos and all that, you may not really gain much from here. Okay, so let's look at forms. Okay. Let's look at forms. So again, I'm just going to create another file, forms. Okay, basic. That's called basic.
Hello, Mike. Sorry, I was raising up my hand to ask question.
Okay, please. Yeah, sorry, I don't see that.
Okay, so the question I want to, two questions.
Mhm.
How can I draw a vertical line? I know the horizontal line, you know that one, how to do it. You know, a vertical line, maybe you are dividing a section. Then the second one is that all this what we are learning, let's say, is in segments. I
Yeah,
think is possible to consolidate all of them together, like these forms, like a page can has forms and everything
yeah, of course, of course.
together.
So, yeah, that's sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so everything we're doing here, right, we're doing bit by bit here, but like I said, the final assignment will now comprise of everything we have done. Okay, because a web page, if you open a web page like this page we are in, if I just go and open a web page, it contains a lot of things. Like this now, you can see this logo is a form. And if I click on the
Yes.
form, okay, ignore the drop down for now. Okay, ignore this
Okay.
form. So what is a form? Okay, and
Yes.
then these are links.
Mhm.
Okay, that if you click on them, it takes you somewhere. Okay, like if I click on this, it takes me to this page. Okay, so
Okay.
everything, and then if I go to the page now, you can see another form again where you can search for something. All forms, say
Like,
drop down. Okay,
okay. So these links, this one um is an absolute link, correct?
so
Absolute or relative?
okay, so yeah, so relative links are links within the
The
particular
web
website. So
page.
these are more like absolute links, external links, as we call it. Okay, so when you list you to a different website, external, which we also talked about as well. Okay,
Okay.
see
Okay.
external website. Yeah. So at the end of the day, all these things we are learning bit by bit, right? We are going to come together and put everything. Because when you are building a website, you're not going to say put from here and then go and rest and put no. Everything are in one place. Once I go to if I could open any page at all, like this page, okay, I can see that I click on something, it shows up a file upload. It's actually a form, okay? So it's actually a form, all right? So all these things, if I click on this, you see, I can click on any of these links, okay? I can click on drop down element and all of this shows up, all of that, okay? But what we're doing is a bit by bit, okay? And then you can see it's for you to be able to put things together like this, use CSS, which is going to come later once we're done with HTML. Okay, so yeah, all these things are going to come all together. All right. So let's go to forms and see how that works. Okay, so again, I'll show you the book so that again, so you can see form examples. Okay, when you fill in the form, selecting this and then submitting. Okay, and then yeah, so all right, so there are a whole lot of things now we're going to be looking at in the form. Okay, so all right, let's just go and start the form. Again, we're just going to do doc type. Why am I typing this over? For you to really know how important it is and get used to it. Okay, so if at this point you've not, you still need to look at something to type this, maybe that you've not been practicing that what it is. So because if you type this, follow the examples and just be typing it in each of these examples. Okay, you're going to see that it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Okay, so we have to be good for now and then HTML forms. So to be fair, it's more like one of the most important, it's probably the most important topic in HTML. Okay. Because without forms, you can't really interact with the web page. Okay, you just be looking, just be viewing and just reading stuff. But with forms now, you'll be able to personal profile. Okay. Okay, you use form every day. When you say you want to edit your profile, you now have to edit your phone, edit your name, and all. So let's take a look at the form. So the first thing you need to do when you want to create a form, say form. Okay, so this form action, we're going to ignore it for now. When we do JavaScript, we're going to come back. So, but the action basically, the action will tell you what should happen to the form when you submit it. Okay, for instance, when you say login, when you go to the login page and login, what should happen? So you actually logged in and the page opens. Okay, but what carries that, make that possible is this action. But for now, we're not going to just do anything else, so we don't need it to just leave it just to, yeah. So HTML does not really, HTML specifies it, but you can't really do anything with it. So when we have JavaScript, that we can do something with it. So since we've not done JavaScript, just ignore that for me. Okay, so let me just call this registration form. Registration form. Okay. So for registration form, you know, so this is how we're going to do it. Name, first name. Okay, maybe let me just ignore this for now again too. But I don't want us to get confused. So we're going to just put a label, and the label here is going to be name. And inside this label, there are two ways to do this. Okay, but I think I'll follow this way. So inside the label, I'm just going to put the input. So you type input, and then the type is test, and the name, you can say, you can give it any name, full name, or just say full name. And then, yeah, let's just do that for now, so that you see exactly what is happening here. So again, I'm just going to go the manual way. I want us to get used to it as well, so I know. So go to where you save the file and just double click. Okay, here we have basic forms. I'll just double click it, and then to show me the form. So you can see that from here. So that is this line you're seeing here. So let's do it like this. No worries. Okay. All right. So we can see the form. That is what you're seeing here. Okay. Straightforward. What you have here, that's what you're seeing here. So this name is that name there, and then the input. Again, you can say even if this is appearing on a different line, sorry, you need to put this slash. Even if this is appearing on a different line, on this browser it appears on the same line, because this label and this is an inline element. Inline elements, they allow other elements to appear alongside with it. Okay, so this, even if I put on the different line, it's actually inside the label, so it just appear the same line. Okay, that's full name. Now let's look at it, do a couple of things here. Now, if you see full name here, I'm sure you've seen the browser where you see enter your name, but it's not really typed like, it's not like something, it's not something that you can clean like this, right? It's typed, it's like in the background. All right. So how do you put that here? Okay, so you can provide that by putting the placeholder. It's another. So you can see I put type test name, full name. So this name can be anything, right? But if you put full name here, what happens is that you need to connect the full name to the label, as well. Say for full name. Okay, so this name and that name should be the same thing. Okay, and then the next thing we can put here is a placeholder. Placeholder can be enter your name. Okay, which is what you used to see inside the form input. So if I refresh this, you see that enter name. Okay, so it's not something I'm going to be able to clean, but it's there. Okay, it's on that in the background, enter your name. Okay, that's this. If you want something like that to show, you have to put it in there. You have to put it here. Okay, maybe I should just use this other one. So I'm just going to do what we used to do before, just do a show preview. Okay, so I can have it on the right. But my screen is not that big, so okay. So okay, I'll just increase this. Okay. And of course, it doesn't have to be on the straight line like this. So you can also even like put this. So if you see it like this, don't worry about it. It's still the same thing, right? So you can even do this on the different line, just to, okay. So it's still the same thing. So but it can be on the same line, it can be on different lines, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's for the label. For the name, okay, so label name. So let's do another label for this time. I'll do the password. Okay, and I put an input again. Now the input type, because password is usually different. Okay, so password, if you type a password, you don't want the password to show like this. So okay, you don't want the data to show, rather you want dots to show. So how do you do that? You say the input text, input type should be what? Password. Just type password here. Okay, so let me put the label. I'll put the label here, password. Okay, because the length, because this is very small, the width is well. So if I increase it, you can see that it's actually on the different line. So if I type here, you cannot see that it's showing the way you're used to. Okay. So see, it's showing the way you're used to. Password. Okay, that's how password is. And what makes this possible is just basically by putting a type password. Here the type is test. Okay, so let me just, because of the space in my screen, that's how to put it on the different line. Okay, so let's give it a name as well. It's usually a good idea to give it a name. Password. Yeah, the name can correspond to any of this, right? But this name here, this password here is actually talking about this name. Okay, this password label for password is actually talking about this. Or maybe just put it dash to separate it, my password. Okay. Okay. So we have name. Let's put another one label again. Label submit input. Okay. So this input, I'll just put type submit. And then it shows there. That's it, what you're seeing here. So this type submit, the type determines how the thing is displayed on the page. Okay. But now I don't want it to be submit. So I want it to be maybe like register or something. Let's just put the register instead of putting submit. So I'll do value register. Okay, you see how that changes to register. Okay. And then let's put another one. Label for, okay, let's say gender. So I'm going to go to that gender here. Inputs. Well, now the input type here is going to be radio. Name. Okay. Male. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to have two inputs here. So I'm just going to put the gender. Inputs. Radio again. And then put the name. Yeah, but this one, Yeah, there are two ways to do this now. So let's say mail. Okay, no, I'm sorry. I think this one thing we can do here. Okay. For the label, so gender. Let's and mail. So mail here, and female here. Okay, so this is sufficient for now. So I can just put gender here. Okay. So now, yeah, so because they're together, you can't choose more than, so you can't choose two at the same time, it's because it's really important. All right. So when you're talking about gender like this, you have to put it in such a way that you can choose. So you can see they are all, both of them are inside one label. Okay, and they have the same name. Okay, so just the values are different. Okay. Let's do the last one. I call it member. I'm sure you guys are used to this. So if you want to do something like remember password, where you have to, it's optional to tick one, right? So I can also input type checkbox name remember checked. Okay, so this one is already checked. Okay. Sorry, I not put remember here. Remember password. Okay. So you see what's going on here. Okay, so remember password. So it's already checked, right? So because I put this check here. So if I remove this check here, so it now allows me to either check or uncheck. Okay. But this one I want to check one. So select one and button. So of course we can also put enter password here for the password. So all we just need to do is to put a placeholder here. All right, so everything I've done the same line. Okay, so you can see enter password here. So when I enter password and then enter, I can submit. So obviously it doesn't make sense to have it submit in the middle here. So I'll just do the register, take it from where it is right now. Where is it? Where is the register? So I'm just going to take this and put it at the bottom. It makes more sense like that. Okay, to register. So again, you just need to practice this, and yeah, this is a rough one. Okay, yeah, used to this. So just in the next, once we are done, I'm going to upload a very simple exercise for us to do for next week. Okay, so next week we're going to go deeper into forms, okay, and then look at how to create some other form controls. Okay, so because with forms you can create all kind of stuff. So we're going to be looking at something like let's say where you can put your date of birth, for instance. Let's say type date. Okay. I can say date of birth. So you can see that here. So where you can just click and then you have this thing. So it's also a button, so you can now choose your date of birth. You can okay. So choose the year. So you can see how by just putting just that the input type, you can see that you can do all of this. But it's not looking very nice now, but we're going to make it look nice. Also, we can make sure that we want to, if you look at it, everything is on the same line. So how do we make it to fall on different lines? So we can put, one way to do this is to put them in, say, I'm going to take this one, cut it, and take a div. Remember what I told you about this div. Okay, so this is a very useful. So we just use to group elements and contain them. Okay, so I'm just going to put everything inside a div, each of them. So this one, put in a div. So you can say all the things we've learned, they are very, very important, all of them. So they're all going to come together at the point, and you're going to see that. That's why it's important that you don't slack. Practice as we keep moving. Okay. So you can see now it's what it works. And again, it doesn't make sense to have this here. Should be before the submit button. Okay. So again, it's not looking very nice. It's just, but you can already see that this is a form. Okay, I can choose between male or female. Choose this, choose date of birth. Clicking on this. Okay, and then register. Of course, we register, nothing will happen at the moment because there's no action. All right, so that is it for today. All right, so I'm going to send the HTML for the table and the form. Very, very simple form, and we'll just try to recreate it. Okay, and of course, this table, this what's it called? This for now, I'm posting the videos on my YouTube, but it's there's gonna be another YouTube, like where they post the Python. We're going to also be posting there, but for now, so if you go to this YouTube, let's see. I don't know how I can find it now. So let's see. Where is 64? Okay. Videos. So I've put in a playlist. So you just need to go to the playlist, like the HTML, introduction to HTML, where you can see the videos. So if I go here, so this is where all our videos are, introduction to HTML. Okay, so just go to this playlist. There's really nothing much there, no description, nothing, yeah, but just go and play. So I'll just try to put them together. So you go and maybe I'll just drop this is the top that we had that time. So introduction to HTML. So all our videos, adding images, adding text, introduction to HTML, the first class, all of them are in one playlist. Okay, so this one too is going to be in this playlist. All right, so that you can review it and watch. Okay, so please let's keep going. All right, because you are going to go into GitHub very soon. Because I'm going to go into and then go into Slack as well. Yeah, Slack. This is Slack app. So I'm not going to show you because I have some things going on there. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. So any question?
Will you give us something to do?
Oh yes, that's what yeah. So I'm going to drop the I think I'll just have to just do it right away. for your practice. And please just do the assignment, do it. Well, that's the only way you can really be sure that you really understand what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to drop the HTML module, a very simple one. Like I said, after the next class, we're going to do something a little bit bigger. And yeah, so let's see. So yeah, so it's right there on the platform. Okay, the WhatsApp. Of course, this WhatsApp is not what we should be using anyway, but for now, we just want to we'll be using WhatsApp for now. But later on, we are going to use something more professional, which is Slack. Okay, maybe I'll just show you what Slack to look like. Okay, so maybe I'm just sharing my screen to show you what Slack looks like. Okay, so this is Slack, which is what we're going to be using. Okay, so you can see we already have some people on Slack there. Okay, and for me, I belong to different Slack, groups. Okay, but it's our own here, and so we're going to be using. Okay, so some of the things like here now, you can come out here and ask questions about HTML and CSS. You can come here. Let me show you, for example, on Slack where people have been asking. Okay, maybe it's not. Probably those messages have been deleted. I don't know. Anyway, so we have. Okay, so for instance, now the Zoom link will be dropped here. And you can see like previous other ones, right? So other things will be dropped here. So very soon we'll move on to Slack. Okay, so this is more professional, and then this what we usually use for in the real world. Okay, so that's it. So any more questions? I've dropped the thing on the page. So any more questions? So in the absence of any question, we're going to call it a day. All right, so I'll see you guys next week for our last HTML class before we move on to CSS. Yes, after our next class, we're going to move on to CSS. And CSS, that is when you now learn how to put the colors, make those things look nice, look more interesting. Okay, so we're going to do that. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Yeah.